welcoming everyone to another Down Under Trading Show. I'm going to be going over what's been happening in the stocks and also in crypto. I'm also going to be touching on the Dixie and some Forex as well for something a little bit different and see how it can be correlated. And we've also got a bit of an announcement to make. So I'll probably start off with the announcement first. I think that's the best thing to do. So we're looking to start a subscription service, a premium service. And what that means is that it's going to allow me to put a lot more focus into the people that are serious about trading, and providing them with education and support to further their skills and improve on their risk strategies. Make a very It's really going to allow me to tend to their needs, whether it be with indicators, whether it could be with relevant to CBD and open interest, or sharing charts and getting opinions on charts, or analyzing where a trade could have gone right or where it could have gone wrong. And a lot of the stuff that I have been posting up in the general server is going to start migrating into that subscription server area. These video chats that we do where we go over the charts together, that's something else that will migrate over into the subscription service. We're still going to be doing Twitter Spaces, and they're going to be for everyone. Also, I'll be looking to do, like, if we get a massive move on Bitcoin, or in the stock market, or whatever it might be, a key movement in the markets, we'll look to do like spontaneous voice chats, just to go over what's going on, provided that I'm available to do so. So it is exciting. It's going to be good. Also going to be within the premium server. I'll be sharing what my personal investments are, in cryptos and in stocks as well. And it's not by any means a shill, or to say, look, these are the next 1,000x gems. It's just to be fully transparent, and this is what I own. This is what my idea behind owning them is, and the reasons why. And also when I'm looking to exit those positions. And that's probably more based around my spot portfolio, which is my mid to long term hold. My perp trading will be quite similar to how I do it at the moment. Morning, dogs. Good to see you, mate. So that's sort of where things are at in that space. We'll give a little bit of a preview as to what that's going to look like. I'll just share my screen. Dogs has just said that he's at work and he's going to listen in. No worries, mate. Glad that you could make it. So this is what we're going to be looking to do. We've got the premium section here, so there's going to be a chart section. So I've already been posting some stuff in here. I've got the outlook for the remainder of the years in there. Some updates on Dixie and the Euro. There's also just some stuff here on Bitcoin. So I will show you this one. I've only posted this. I posted this at the start of the month, just talking about how 23.5K hadn't come in, and that I could see the prior high being swept. And 28,550 was the key level, and to be honest, it pretty much happened exactly. I didn't get the trade right. My trading side of it was off, but my analysis was definitely there. I strayed away from my own analysis, which was my biggest downfall in that instance. And then we'll moving down into the education section. Some of you guys may have had access to this previously, but it just sort of goes through all the different topics. And then we've also got an educational questions section down the bottom, where you can learn, teach yourself, and ask questions if there's any confusion or further understanding is required. Or you might be wanting to put some of these learnings into practice, and you could say you've just been reading up on fib retracement, and you want to use that in the charts. You can put it in the charts, post it up, and tag me and say, have I got this right? Is this where I should be drawing the fibs? What's your thoughts? All that sort of stuff. The whole idea is to be able to teach how to trade, how to make your own trades, how to find your own trades, and how to do that safely. And you may be an experienced trader already, and this will only help advance those skills. I think that every trader, regardless of your experience, can improve or be open to different ideas. Particularly around, like, if you've never really used CBD and open interest, that's a really handy tool. A lot of traders would be familiar with horizontal lines and channels and fib retracements, but not all traders will necessarily use them correctly or in the right instance. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of benefit here. Um, And yeah, so what we're going to be doing is the prices that we're looking at is $50 a month, or we're going to have a special for our Discord followers, and it's open to anyone really, and that's going to be $90 for 3 months. That special is going to be available from the close of this voice call for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll just be going back at the close of the next 2 weeks. We'll just be going back to the $50 a month, and that's there to cover the time and effort that's required on the behalf of myself and the team. There's been a lot of hours put into this work, and there is a lot of time that is required to assist people and help educate, going over charts, doing long-term analysis. It's not a 5-minute job, and it's just something to sort of say thank you for the efforts, more or less. It's nothing crazy, I don't think. There is some uh sorry, dogs. Yeah, so what I've just been saying, I think you might have joined a little bit late. Where the announcement that we have is that we're starting up a subscription service, and the stuff that's under premium there and under education will be available to those that choose to subscribe. A lot of the stuff that I've been posting into the general Discord, general part of the Discord, will be moving into the premium area. Good morning, Levi. Good to see you. Yeah, it's no worries that you've joined, mate. Great to have more people on board. You have missed it a little bit, but when we get this posted up, you could watch back the first 10 minutes and you'll be up to speed. So that's enough about the premium. If there is any questions, feel free to ask myself or anyone in the team, being Nomad or Simon. We'll be more than happy to help. You can either DM us or just tag us in the general chat for everyone to see. Dogs is just ask how to buy premium. So the way that we're going to do it, it's going to be under support. You just open up a ticket and you get in touch with us via the submit a ticket. At the moment, we payments is going to be kept to just in USDT only. It's just easier for tracking purposes for us. We may look into other avenues in the future if there's a demand for it. But yeah, at the moment we'll just be keeping it in crypto only. Yeah, well, I'll follow up with a lot more details in an announcement after this catch up. So I won't go on about it too much more. We'll get into looking at some charts. So the first thing that I wanted to start on is the Dixie. We'll start off with something a little bit different. So this is the Dixie chart. We'll go out to a weekly time frame. I'm not sure if everyone is aware of what the Dixie is. It's been on 12 weeks. It's been going up now. Actually, I'll cover off what the Dixie is first. So the Dixie is a representation of the US dollar and how strong it is. How they come to that, or what information feeds that data, is predominantly the euro. So it's a range of different currencies, and the strength of the US dollar against those currencies then form the Dixie. So the euro is the most highest weighted at 57%. We've got the Japanese yen, the pound sterling, the Canadian dollar, and then we've got the krona and the Swiss franc. And this is interesting because we'll look at the euro versus the dollar in a minute as well. And just remember that the euro is it's the most represented currency in the Dixie. So going back to the Dixie, we've been on 12 weeks up. I've drawn my fib from the high to the range low, and we can zoom out even further to say a month. You can see it's at the high, the low, and we're coming into resistance now at the 50% level. And it looks like we might be able to get a bit of a rejection here. 12 weeks up only is a long time of going up. Once you start getting over that 7 to 9 week mark, you start looking for, we're going to have a retracement soon. That's if it gets that high. Like back over here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 weeks up before we started coming down. But anyway, we're currently in our 12th green week. We're coming up to resistance, and we'll zoom in to about a 1 hour chart. And it looks like it's getting rejected. Came up, got a little rejection, came up, got a heavy rejection, and then the third tap, and now we're starting to break down a bit. It looks like it might come up. This is, I think it's a 34 EMA, the yellow line. Probably come up and tap these lines here, and then start to come down a bit. I think it may find some support around the 105.7 region. Which is these tops over here. I think it shows it a bit better on the daily chart, perhaps. Yeah. Let me just turn off some of these indicators. Yeah, so back over here at this towards the end of last year, start of the year, it was support, broken through, flipped to resistance, tested again, still resistance. So the 105.7 area is quite important. It actually it didn't even test it on the way through, just pushed straight through, tested it to see if it's been flipped to support. It has, but now we're starting to see some rejection. So I think we could come back down to around the 105 area. And the reason why this is important is because the strength of the US dollar whilst it's directly derived from the forex markets, when the dollar goes up, you typically see, and it's not a hard and fast rule, but you typically see risk assets, as in stocks and crypto, start to sell off, and that's the correlation to stocks and Bitcoin, which would sort of it makes sense because we've been retracing pretty much since the middle of July, on stocks and also on Bitcoin. And what's been going up, the Dixie's been going up since then. We jump into the euro. On the weekly time frame, this has been going down for now 12 weeks, which you would expect. If the Dixie's been going up for 12 weeks and the largest contributor to the Dixie is the euro valuation against US dollar, it's coming down. When it's in a macro downtrend, when we see these reversals or retracements to the upside, I've done some back testing, and the euro tends to reject at the 618 level. But then when it's coming back down, this is in between the swing highs and the swing lows. When it's coming back down, you tend to see support come in at the 786 level, which is interesting. But I'm of the opinion that we should start to see some support come in for the euro at around the 0.5 or 50% level, which we're nearly there, 1.04. And I think we're going to start to see a bit of a reversal. The euro's been in a downtrend since 2018. That's on a 3-month chart. Yeah. 2018 marked the high, and it's just been in a downtrend ever since. It's going to flip at some point. When looking at the bigger picture of the real estate cycle or the land value cycle, the 18.5-year cycle that I have been talking about on a few other shows, that sort of says that towards the end of the cycle, the US dollar or the Dixie valuation, it starts to take a bit of a tumble of between 20 to 30%, depending on the cycle. Not every cycle is the same, but they definitely rhyme with each other. So that would also go sort of hand in hand with the euro starting to look to reverse. It might not be straight away. It could be a little bit early. If this 50% level does start breaking, then I definitely think we'll be coming down to just below parity. I wouldn't even be really considering the golden pocket on the downtrend. Just from my back testing, I haven't seen support come in at the 618. I've only ever seen resistance come in at 618. But it's something a little bit different, something to be aware of regarding Forex and the Dixie. We'll get into Bitcoin and have a bit of a look at what's been going on. We'll go into this chart. So this is just the Bitcoin US dollar index chart. It's not relevant to any exchange. The reason why I've picked this chart is because when we had the low back here in the middle of August, this low here it's completely different from exchange to exchange. Bybit got down to 24.2. I think Binance got down to 25. It's all over the shop. And when you're drawing your fib, it really you can get completely different results depending on the chart you're looking at. So I figure it's easier just to use the index. It's a bit more of a bit more of a common chart, I suppose. It's not relevant to a single exchange. However, when we'll just rehash what sort of happened. We are in a bit of an uptrend, it would seem, at the moment. I honestly thought that we were going to get down to 23.5K in the month of September. However, we didn't get there. And that was sort of telling when we had this little breakout here up to 27.5. It's still on the cards, but it was starting to get quite skeptical, especially when we come back down to 26K, which is the sort of range high of this area here, and it came in as support. It didn't break down any further. So it was around the end, towards the end, around the 28th, around here, when we started to come up. I started thinking, well, I need to change my thinking here, because it clearly doesn't look like it's going to go down to 23.5K just yet. What does it look like we're doing? It looks like we're going up. So where are we going to go up to? What's the max pain point? And when you've got all of this trading going on for, almost a month, a whole month, they're going to be looking at this high at 28.2, thinking above that level. We're only just spiked above it for maybe a few minutes, maybe half an hour. But otherwise, we've been 6 weeks below this level. So we'll put our short stops. Our stops will be up there. And where did we go? We went up, test to sweep above that high. It also corresponds with the 50% level and that's the fib drawn from the 31.8 high down to this low at 24.9. And it's been heavily rejected since. So there's going to be a lot of longs in play now. A lot of longs. And where are their stops going to be? They're going to be down here. They're going to be in this vicinity. And it's going to be the exact same thought process. We only spent a couple minutes down here below 25K. Surely we're not going to go back down there. And that's where the area where the stops are going to be. And that's where I'm thinking we're going to be heading next to collect the liquidity. Where it stops, it could be like a little bit of a capitulation event, depending on how many longs there are. As soon as you start getting a few longs getting liquidated, it could start to bring a bit of a cascading effect and bring us right down. And the reason why we didn't get a similar situation on this move up is because we really only had the stops from this range of trading here. However, we'll zoom out. Perhaps a weekly might be better. We have not been below 24.8K since March. So we've got not saying that there's longs held through this entire process or this entire trading period since March, but there will be a lot of stops that are down here in this zone. And as soon as it starts to grab a couple of them, it's going to bring on a bit of a cascading effect. And it's just a matter of where does it stop? Where do these the big money players, where are they wanting to fill their longs? And a good way of looking at it could be simply the parallel channel that we've been in since June of last year that we have not broken out of. So where does this parallel channel sit? Around 23.5K. And that's in next week, or in 2 weeks from now, 23.5K. If it's this week, it's 23.3. Next week is 23.4. That sort of gives me a bit of confidence and confluence in my thoughts around this 23K area. I don't see this channel being broken. If we do get broken down below, it's not to say that it can't be broken, but it's unlikely to be broken. If we do get a break below and it holds below, that's when it starts to become a bit of a dangerous territory, and we can expect sideways in a bigger accumulation period for longer. I don't think we'll be over 30K by the end of the year if we broke outside of this parallel channel. At the moment, I think we definitely will be probably around the 35K mark towards the end of the year. But we just gotta wait and see how that plays out. Every week, if I ask what chart do we want to look at, sweat is one that always gets brought up. So I may as well just jump in and save everyone from needing to talk about it. So we've been on a massive, staunch move up the past few weeks. We hit the 1 cent mark, which is fantastic. That's a great milestone. We're coming into resistance now. We are playing in this area at the moment, which is good. It would be great to see 0.0095 flip to support, and that would sort of mean that we might start trading in this range up to just over 1 cent. And the reason why we might be trading into this area is it was originally support back here in December of last year, and then it got flipped into resistance. We're yet to get a substantial close above this level, so it's still resistance at the moment. We could see a bit of a rejection, but as long as we hold above 0.0095, we might do a little bit of sideways movement for a few days and then have another crack at these higher levels here. The big test is going to be getting over the 50% level. If we can get over the 50% level, there's a lot of clear air above because there isn't a lot of structure. I mean, we do have a little bit here at 1.2 cents, but back here when we broke down, it was just pretty much straight down. So we could actually have a whilst we might have a little pit stop at 0.012, it could quite easily start come up to the around the 1.5 cents, 1.4 cents region with quite little resistance. But as I have been saying, I really want to see if sweat can hold this move in the weeks following the global launch that's coming up. I think it's on the 12th of October. It'll be really telling whether this has been a nice sustained run, which it has been. It hasn't just been a quick week up or a quick 2 weeks of straight up. It's been over a period of time. Since pretty much June was marked the low. But I am definitely a skeptic, just based on what we've seen in the crypto space and anything that's news related. It doesn't matter what it is. It's been retraced from XRP to spot ETFs to it really doesn't matter. It's just, they've all been retraced. Hopefully this one's different, because I do really believe in the project. I think it is a great project, but I try not to let that get in the way of my analysis for day trading. We'll look at ADA. I know we've got a couple of fans of ADA. So ADA has been struggle street, although we have seen a little bounce. I still think it's in struggle street. We had this little capitulation here back in the middle of August. Got a decent bounce off it, and we came back down. and we formed this trend line, but we only got a little bounce. And now we've come back down, and we got a bigger bounce in the last one, but this is predominantly driven because BTC had a massive run, and it was unable to start breaking above these highs back here. So I think as a minimum for ADA, we're going to come back down, test this trend line, and potentially we could start looking to break through this trend line. Particularly if Bitcoin decides to go for a run down to below 24.8, these alts have got nowhere to hide. Particularly these ones that have been on a downtrend. And a good way to look at it is to actually look at their Bitcoin valuation. We'll go out to a weekly. That does not look like a very nice chart to me. It's been putting in a series of lower highs and lower lows. Then you might get a little bit of a bounce and a little bit of sideways, similar to what happened here. Put in a new low, bounced, broke here, and then a little bit of sideways, and it kept going. We got a new low, we got a bounce, sideways, and then comes down, makes a new low. And that just seems to be the pattern that it runs through. Now we've got the low, bounce, sideways, coming into now, getting ready to make a new low. I mean, it is coming into a bit of support at the moment, but I don't think the end is not over for down. Another interesting one is Dot Bitcoin. Dot's been around for a while. Got to some pretty high numbers back in the bull run, but this is looking quite weak. It's actually putting in fresh lows at the moment. We see makes a new low, pops up sideways, and then comes down. Makes a new low, pops up sideways, makes a new low, and now it's just been going virtually just down. And if we look at .USD, this was at $56 it peaked at. That's crazy. Crazy to think that it's now down at $4 and putting in new lows as we speak. This chart doesn't look as bad as the Bitcoin valuation, but it still looks bad. Just not as bad. We're getting bigger jumps on the USD valuation, but that just sort of suggests that it's moving up. When Bitcoin goes up, it's just not moving up as much when Bitcoin moves up. And then when it comes down, it drops harder than what Bitcoin does. And that's all relevant to the Bitcoin dominance and just wrecking alts. And it just goes to show that the blue chips aren't safe, the mid caps aren't safe, nothing's safe. However, you do get a couple that do buck the trend. YGG is one, even though it's down massive from its all-time high. It's produced some decent movements this year. Sweat is another one that's been going against the grain so far. Hopefully it holds it. Injective. We can look at Inj. Inj. See, this is a nice, healthy looking chart from Inj. And it's been around for a while as well. But it looks nothing like the ADA or the DOT Bitcoin charts. We've got the bottom here in 2022, and it's been doing the opposite. It's going up. We're getting a nice consolidation period at the moment. We'll see whether this is accumulation or distribution. Could be distribution. We could be coming down to maybe test some of these levels down below before we start taking off. Time will tell. if we look at the INJ USD chart, yeah, it's looking pretty good given what's been happening. I mean, it got up to about $10, and so we're sitting at 25% below the high. Bitcoin's not sitting as far below its high, but it's not far off, so it's quite relative to each other. But it's had a much bigger pump up. You know, it's at the moment it's up around 7x from its lows, and it's sustaining it. We've had this nice pullback. We're having a nice pullback, but we're not breaking down any lower. We're putting in higher lows and higher highs to a certain degree. I mean, this could be looked at as a bit of a double top, but even if it is a double top, we haven't came down back below $5.50, and it's a significant way off that. You know, it's 30% away from breaking down below this level. It could very well do so, but Injective, I don't think we'll get the opportunity again. But you know, if we got down to the $3 mark, I'd definitely be loading up from my spot bags with Injective. I think it could be one that goes for a decent run, just based on its performance over the past 12 months. I'm going to touch on the Bitcoin dominance. So I've had few weeks of down, and it looks like we're starting to reverse now. You know, we're up to 50.5%. I think this top will get broken at 52 quite easily. It sort of marries up with this support level, but I think it'll break to the upside. We could get a strong movement up to around 57%. It was the prior support, was resistance over here, and sorry, I'll zoom in a bit better on the chart. 57%. It initially provided some resistance, but it broke through, came back down. We got these little tests here. Got flipped to support here. Came into support here. So I think 57% is going to be a key level. The dominance doesn't move that quickly, so this could take weeks or months to play out, but I think eventually we are heading up in that direction. I will just jump into Bitcoin because it looks like it is having a bit of a move. So with Bitcoin, I did say, I'm pretty sure I put it in the public area. I did say I think we can sort of come up to this 27.95 to 28k level, and that's simply because we've broken down below. This is on my Bybit chart, broken down below, and on this 4-hour wick here, there is actually no tail or wick to the upside of this candle. Typically, you'll always see wicks on both sides of the candle, and if you don't, it will more than likely come back and take the liquidity just above that the candle, that the side that doesn't have a wick on it, before it continues on its warpath. So I did sort of think that we could get up into this area here. Well, you know, we might test 28k and then start fading away. And I suppose now that I'm in this chart here, it's a good way for me to show just how the fib levels do move around. The 50% level on this chart from the 31.8k high to the recent low sits at 28k, as opposed to the Bitcoin index chart. It's at 28.3. So that's a fair difference between the two, and which is why you really need to sort of pay attention when we have these big moves. You need to see whether there is massive discrepancies between the exchanges. If they're minor discrepancies, that's fine. Always chart on the exchange that you're trading on. But yeah, you do need to be aware of some of these larger discrepancies. Was there anything that anyone wanted me to go over or look at or talk about? I haven't seen if there's any comments. Oh, there's been a few. Yeah, Frank's just said that the pound's also been coming down. Similar. That's right. Whilst the Dixies are derived from mainly the euro and a few other currencies, you do see that the entire world of currencies sort of they typically generally follow suit. Like here in Australia, the Aussie dollar, it's not doesn't form any part of the Dixie. However, we've been losing value against the USD as well. Um, it's just how it goes. If the US dollar is showing strength, it's going to affect all or most currencies in the world, whether they have an input into the Dixie or not. I suppose the currencies probably use the Dixie as a means, or the traders use the Dixie as a means of as an indicator for whatever currency they might be trading in. So, but I think we might start wrapping it up there, unless there's any final questions. If anyone does have any questions after watching watching the clip once it gets put up, you can always hit us up in the general chat or even directly. I'm happy to take DMs as well. But yeah, I'll be putting up an announcement about the subscription service, and if that does bring about any questions, ask away. More than happy to help or assist or provide guidance. I like to have no secrets and be an open book. And if I don't know the answer to something, I'll do my best to find it out. Not a problem, dogs. I enjoy doing this, mate. Thanks for the kind words, Mystic. Appreciate you having time to come and join us. And yeah, if you've got any feedback or in future when we hold these, if there's anything that you want me to go over or look at specifically, feel free to let me know. We will wrap it up there. Thanks for joining, guys, and hope that you got something out of it. And we'll see you next time.